Hello.
Hi, this is Ha'el from Metal Temple Magazine,
Yes.
calling you from Israel. How are you? Good, thank you. I'm fine.
Oh, good,
Okay, so
good. How are
Six
you?
Feet Under's 12th album, Torment, is coming out this February 24th. So tell me a little bit about it. Like, what should Six Feet Under fans expect?
Oh, it's a really excellent album. I think fans are gonna dig it, man. If they're into 6 Feet Under, they'll be surprised, man. I think there's some cool twists and some good ins and outs on this one.
Okay, I actually got to listen to it, fortunately, and to be honest, I loved it. I think it's packed with, like, really groovy riffs, and that it's fresh and energetic like hell. Like, specifically just now, Bloody Underwear, like, really killed me with the harmonies and everything. So, like,
Okay, cool, man.
so tell me, what moods were you in while writing? What were some of the inspirations for ideas, and what would you say is the general pace or mood of the album?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I mean, I was in a great mood. I'm always in a good mood when I sit down to write. I just kind of
Okay.
get led by
Uh-huh.
I just get led by the universe, man. Whenever it tells me it's time to write, I just feel like I just move with it. And that's what I did with every song on here, man. Jeff would give me songs, and some I had for a couple months or a couple weeks, or some I just wrote right after he sent them to me. It just depended on what felt right. So it's kind of how I've worked, just when the time felt good, I just sat down and write. And with this one, man, I always gain my inspiration and stuff like that from the music itself. And I just listen to what the music's kind of telling me, its energy, and I just let that speak to me, and just fit the music with whatever vocal tone and whatever lyrical storyline is kind of echoing in my mind.
Okay, so how was the time in the studio? How was it any different than on previous 6 Feet Under releases? And yeah, tell me a bit about the recording process itself.
Well, yeah, man, it was great. We had, I had a great session, man, and I know Marco did, and Jeff worked out everything, all his writing, and laid down all his tracks, his guitar and bass tracks in his own studio. So we've been working like that for quite some time. I mean, with all the musical partners and writing partners I've had a lot of we've had everyone's had their own studio, and it's a lot more relaxing that way to kind of create music now, and definitely financially more just easier to do. I mean, there's no real need to go to big studios unless you're tracking drums or sometimes to mix.
Okay.
So this was no different than that. I mean, it went really well on that side of things.
Okay, and the current lineup is relatively new, that with Ray joining the band only in 2016. So how are the dynamics within the band itself, and like what angles does every member bring to the table regarding songwriting or ideas, etc.?
Well, Ray came in last year, around this time of year, I think it was. So he's done a couple tours with us. He didn't write anything on this album, and he didn't play on it. Jeff did all the instruments. But yeah, Marco's been with me for, I think, 4 years now, coming up on 4 years, and Jeff and Marco are just an awesome team to have with me, and they're just killer musicians, man, just really experts at their instruments.
Okay. Okay, so what's behind the song titles? And I know I asked you like earlier about the moods you were in while writing material, but also in general, like what kind of writer are you? Do you sit down and say, okay, today I'll write for like 2-3 hours, or do you let things flow and come spontaneously and just write lyrics on napkins and record stuff on your iPhone and stuff?
No, I don't have a preconceived notion. Like I said earlier, I just let the universe kind of speak to me, and I go just with that flow, man, and I just, work from that, because you can't force yourself. You can't sit down and say, oh, today I'm going to write a song or something, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on a lot of things, man. So I just try to let go of all those things and just let it kind of speak to me, and I just go and sit down and write.
Okay, and so what else is planned? Like, what about tour dates and summer festivals?
Oh, yeah, we're putting together some dates for the U.S. here. We're going to do 2 different legs of touring. So that's being handled right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to hopefully do some European festivals this summer. That's
Mm-hmm.
being worked out on from the European booking agent side. And yeah, we're going to do our annual Christmas tour at the end of the year in Germany. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it seems 6 Feet Under has been on a very strong streak of albums. Like 2012 Undead was very, very highly praised with fans. So was 2013's Unborn, and 2 years ago Crypt of the Devil as well. So, and I personally loved what I've heard from Torment so far. So, how do you think it'll sink in with the fans? Like, will it become a classic in good time? Maybe.
Well, I don't. That's not up to me, is it? I would hope they all are classics.
Uh-huh.
They are to me. I mean, yeah, I think it's a standout record
Mm-hmm.
in our discography. I love it. I love it. I think everything kind of clicked on this one. So, who knows? Who knows? Someone somewhere might think it's the best thing we've done. I don't know.
Okay, okay. So for something a bit different, 6 Feet Under is known to have some political criticism as well. So what's your take on Donald Trump and these days, and would 6 Feet Under play at his inauguration if you were asked to?
Oh no, we wouldn't have done that. Not at all. No,
Okay.
no. I think my critique of him is well known. I don't think he's
Mhm.
qualified to be a president. He has no qualifications in governing anything,
Mhm.
but dictating to his workers what to do, because he's not the right guy for the job. Put it that way. That's a kind way of saying it. And,
Okay.
so.
So what's it like being an American these days regarding that?
Oh, I'm very proud to be an American, no doubt
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't have it has nothing to do with the current
Mhm.
government in power. I'm very proud of this country and what it is and how it
Mhm.
came to be and all that and all the diversity that we have in this country is what
Mhm.
has made us great over the years.
Okay. So back to music. What did you think about the new Metallica album?
What did I think about? Pardon me, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, about the new Metallica album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
I only heard a couple songs off of it. I liked that video they did to tribute Lemmy.
Lemmy. Okay.
That was really cool, man. That song Murder One. I like that a lot.
Mhm. Okay. And tell me, how's working with Metal Blade Records, and what's your take on the music industry these days? Like regarding metal specifically, like how does the relationship between these big labels and artists, how does it look like?
Oh, I don't know from other people's perspective. I know from my perspective, it's
Mhm.
been a dream come true working with Metal Blade. I
Mhm.
followed them when I was growing up, when I was buying records in the record stores and stuff like that in the early 80s.
Mhm.
So, yeah, man, it was one of the best labels. It was the best label
Mhm.
there was for metal, and it still is. So I've been very, very fortunate to have had 28 years of being able to put my music out through them.
Mhm. And in general, do you think labels still pressure artists like to write material that's a bit more approachable, or I don't know, I wouldn't say radio friendly, but something that's a bit more accessible to wider audiences?
I don't think I've never experienced that with Metal Blade, and I'm not sure that any label does that with any band that I know of. I think that's
Mhm.
kind of I think that's kind of a fallacy that the press has portrayed, like so much
Mhm.
things that the press portrays.
Mhm. Okay, what else regarding metal and, heavy music that you say is being often distorted by the press?
Oh, I think a lot of things. I think it's more sensationalized things are, and
Mm-hmm.
a way of
Mm-hmm.
portraying things and creating battles between things, and even if it's not spoken, it's kind of inferred.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have mentioned, the media being sensationalist, and I have wanted to ask you, like, what's the deal with, wait, I hit it right. Okay, yeah, with, magazines, having headlines lately about you and Cannibal Corpse not getting along back in the early days, that's been popping up back.
That's just clickbait. That's been
That's
kind
PR.
of you. Yeah, that's just clickbait to get people to click on
Mm-hmm.
that story, and basically what it causes is people to just look at a headline and
Mm-hmm.
not read the interview fully and see where that headline was taken out of context and
Mm-hmm.
used to propagate a certain idea amongst people to create a division. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's duality, though. That's duality. That's what I write about in my music, and in ways that, some people understand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell me, Chris, what albums that came out this year or the last year that you absolutely loved, and which did you like, and what release are you expecting to?
Man, I'm not a critic. I don't go through all that stuff. I don't like to critique other people's stuff.
Okay, but anything you specifically enjoyed and would like to share with our listeners?
I like that last Inquisition album. I like
Mm-hmm.
that last Abbott record. I liked
Abbott, yeah.
a bunch of stuff, man. A bunch of good stuff. Some Doom stuff. That band Wind Hand is pretty good.
Okay, and for my last question, Chris, have you read anything good lately that you'd like to recommend our listeners?
Oh, no, not reading anything. Just doing research on things that interest me about reality and such like that.
Mm-hmm.
Quantum quantum physics.
That's interesting. Okay, you read about that.
Yeah, just I've been researching on it. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Okay, Chris Barnes, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I wish you all the luck and all the best with the new album. I do think it's killer. I think it's gonna knock everyone out.
Oh, thanks, man, and yeah, man. Best of luck to you too, man. I appreciate you calling and talking to me all the way from Israel. Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.
Okay, okay. Take care.